Hello everybody, welcome to Crazy Gaming, and I'm Crazy. Today we're going to be playing Land Is My Land. It just was released in full release a few days ago. It's been around a lot longer than that. I started playing this game way back in early access. It's been about 18 months ago, I guess. And I'm doing this video today is kind of a tutorial for people who are just starting to play the game, because in the beginning it can be a little overwhelming, and that's not fun for anybody. So let's get started. I'm going to give you some tips on how to use things to make the game a little easier for you. So let's start. Now, in this tutorial today, this is my first video for YouTube. Be gentle with me, please. I'm going to be going over the mechanics of the game mostly. This first video is more of a tutorial on how things work, what the tabs are, how to use them, how to collect things, how to build your resistance, and hopefully you'll learn some things here that will make the game go a little easier for you. I've got a couple secrets that I'm going to share with you today that will help you right in the beginning of the game. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like the video. Please give it a like. It'll help me out, and hopefully I'll be making a whole bunch more videos, and we'll get into more actual gameplay and stuff on the next one. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about today is I've been in the game for a while. I started playing again right after the launch, so I've been playing for a few days, 4 or 5 days now. So I'm pretty far along, and I wanted to wait to start this video until I got here, because I'll be able to show you some things that I wouldn't had I started video, doing a tutorial at the beginning when I first started the game. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, most of you probably already know this, but in case you don't and you're still trying to figure it out, the tab key is how you open the map. When I first started this game, I thought that was dumb. I thought the map should open with the M, but there's a reason this format is like this, because it includes this, and a bunch of stuff is going on in this page, just on this one tab. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the symbols on the map. These symbols will definitely come into play as you play the game. First thing I want to talk about is outposts. Outposts are these little gray icons you see on the map. An outpost is important because it has multiple functions, and one of the most important is it's a fast travel point. So if you're all the way across the map and you want to come over here to help out maybe this camp or something that's starting to build up around the camp, you can fast travel here. And that can be important when things like this are going on. We have a bunch of wood gatherers here in this little group. They're on horseback and maybe even pulling a wagon. I'm probably certain they are. And they gather together, and if they pass this camp, they see that it's undefended, they will attack, So I can fast travel to the camp as well. A lot of times I'll fast travel outside the camp because they may be fighting there, and I don't want to spawn in there and all of a sudden start being shot. So that's just something that you might want to think about. Also, these little icons in red, some of them are not enemies, but they're animals. Like these are boars, these are bears, and these are important to pay attention to. These are wolves. Some of these animals can be very dangerous. All of these ones in red will attack you. Some of the ones on the map that, like the rabbits, they're not dangerous, so they're white. There are areas that have things like buffalo and deer. There's a deer, he's white. So anyways, anything you see in red here is dangerous and will attack you. And I've been killed by boars, so don't underestimate any of these animals. Okay, so that's that. As you get better in the game, you're going to expand out and grow. You will run across these camps from time to time, and what you want to do is bring them into your resistance. And how you do that is by having what they call a good spirit. In other words, your reputation is good, and without a doubt they'll join you. Now, how you get a bad reputation in this game is just running around murdering stuff. You just keep killing people, and you will get a bad reputation. And when you enter one of these camps, they'll refuse to join your resistance. And you don't want that. That's a bad thing. The thing you want to do in the beginning of this game, and probably 90% of the time what you want to do, is do what's called a maneuver called Intimidation. Intimidation is where you sneak up on somebody in one of these camps. You'll have the opportunity to hit the F key when you get close enough, which will force your character to grab the enemy from behind, stick a knife to his throat, and set him on his knees. This is a good thing in that he will provide information for you for things like such as objectives. All these ones you see with question marks is because I don't have their location, so I can't complete them. How I get the answers to where they are is by doing that intimidation that I was just talking about. That intimidation also gives you 3/4 better SP than you would if you just murder them. Murdering them gives you like maybe 35 or 40 SP, whereas doing the maneuver might get you 80 or 90. So, I mean, you know, and if you clear a whole camp with nothing but doing the intimidation maneuver, you will get quite a bit of XP, and that's good rep. So, what happens with good rep is the government and the troops aren't sending as many people out on patrols. They're not trying to fill an area with a bunch of settlers and military and that kind of stuff, and so it makes the game easier for you. Now, I'm not saying you can't kill stuff, because believe me, I've killed my share. There are times when I've come across railroads where there's a town next to it. I have a pretty heavy-duty sniper rifle. I'll climb on a high rock, and I will spend, you know, an hour just wiping out the whole town and killing everybody, because I just don't want to mess with it. The sooner I get them dead, the sooner the red goes away, because it clears quite a big area when you do stuff like that. But that being said, you can build up reputation, as a good reputation in the beginning of the game for your first like 8 or 10 levels that will pay off in the long run, because by the time you get to the point where you can take out whole towns like that, you'll have so much good reputation that wiping out a town doesn't put you in the negative. It keeps you you're still in the good. So it's a balancing act, but it's worth it. That being said, not all territories are not all these small areas, you know, counties, whatever you want to call them, have camps in them, you know, that you will bring into the fold. But what you can do is in some of these camps, I placed them down here, because back here on the main tab for your town, you have these things you can do, and one of them is send to settle, so you can start your own camp. Now, that brings us to this thing, the upgrade. You want to upgrade your camps, because when you first start out, your camp is going to be level 1, and it's only going to be able to have a maximum of 5 warriors in it. If you get 6 warrior in there, this first number will turn red. When you get the red number, it debilitates you in specific areas. It slows down the SP you get, and it also can create drama with your camp. So you want to try to avoid that. If you see something like that happening where you have 1 or 2 warriors extra in camp, you want to immediately try to send them to a camp that maybe has low numbers, and keep those numbers white. Anyway, I'm going to go over these with you real quick. This first one is a travel to. Now, travel to is the same thing you get if you're at you get this when you're in a camp, but you get the same thing when you're at an outpost. And what that is fast travel. So I can click here and start a 40-hour travel, and it just takes a few seconds to complete it. But it will move me back over to whatever camp I've chosen I want to go to, or other outposts that I want to go to. So, that being said, that's kind of nifty. Because you get really old traveling from one spot all the way across the map to another. That's not available to you in that first level. You won't get that till you upgrade to the second level in the camp upgrade. Camp upgrade second level is easy. It's just a few pelts. I think it's 5 boar pelts, 5 boar tusks, and some wood. Or no, it's not even, it may not even be tusks. It may be pelts, rope, and wood. You know, so it's pretty simple. You can do it. Anyways, the second one is putting items in. This is important when you're out in the field and your bags are full, and that brings me to the horse. Your horse that you'll be able to choose, you'll be able to add the paint scheme, and you'll be able to pick the saddle out. He'll have saddlebags. This horse will stay with you through the whole game from this point on. And it doesn't mean you can't ride other horses, you can. But what it means is he has his own, and he can carry up to 70 in the weight, which is a lot. So between filling him up and then filling yourself up, that's a lot. And what you want to do is you want to come back to one of these spots, or a camp, whichever's closer, and then you can transfer this stuff to a camp's inventory, and camp's inventories can hold. I've never hit rock bottom on one yet, so there you go. And that's why that's important. The next thing we want to talk about is the smoke signals. Smoke signals are activated when you want all your warriors from this camp to all, stop what they're doing and come back to the camp. And that because, maybe an attack started to happen at the camp. Because usually when you have people out gathering, there's only one or two guys left at camp. These dudes passing by will see that and they'll take advantage and they will attack. That way you can hit the smoke signal like this, and it will suck all those people back into the camp, and they can help defend it. That's what that one's for. Okay, in the second row down here, these are for other things, like directly that benefit you. Like, this is an attack button. If I hit this button, it gives me the opportunity to mark this guy and send whatever number of warriors I want. I can arm them with whatever I want, and I can put them on horseback, and then they can track this guy down and kill him. So that's what the attack button does, generally. And then, excuse me. And then the next button is going to be the gather button. Now the gather button, they will only gather resources like, say, wood or pelts or meat or whatever's available. Whatever you need for whatever recipe you're trying to concoct. Okay, that's the difference between this and this. Orders on the first level in camp is not going to be available to you either. And a lot of these things won't be. There's only a few number of things you can use. But with orders, you can add an order and say have them make arrows, or make a eagle bow, or hunter's bow, or some tea, or food, or whatever you want. And you don't have to send them after specific things, because if I click for them to make heavy arrows, they will go out and gather all the stuff they need to make the heavy arrows and then actually make it. So that's how these work, and that's important. And that's the difference between gathering and this. The next one is send to settle. So if I want to send out to start my own camp because I haven't come across the new one, or there's too much space between these and you want to try to have more camps for defense, you can send them to start their own. And so this is what these little symbols are. I can click on any one of them I want and they will do it. Now back in the beta version, the early alpha version, you used to be able to send them to places that you destroyed. In other words, you just took out a town, or you took out a camp, or a sawmill, or whatever. Once you wiped them out and you burned it to the ground, you could click on that space and send them there to start a camp there. But I don't see it in this game. They must have decided against that. Anyways, so back to what we're talking about here. But anyways, that's what this is. Send to settle. You can send them out to tame horses. There's stuff called hay bait that they use to tame a horse. Now, one of my towns, actually the first town I started in, this one, a long time ago had them start collecting hay bait. They only collect 15 at a time, and that sits in their inventory. So if I got another town somewhere that needs horses, I can pull from that inventory, bring it to that town, and then use this to send out one or two or three warriors to go tame horses, and they'll bring them back. to the camp for everybody. And that's what that one is. And then this one is Cinder Patrol. When you use the Cinder Patrol, you actually pick points on the map for them to follow, and they will make a loop or whatever you want to do. If you want them to go the whole outside, whatever you choose. And you can send 5, 10, 15 warriors, and they will all ride fully armed. And anytime they come across people like this guy, they will automatically attack him. Anybody that gets in the patrol or gets too close to one of these camps, they will attack them. If they come across people hauling stuff to and from these places, they will attack and kill them as well. And that's what that's for. This one is to send people to another camp. Like say you have a camp that's running low on people, maybe they just got attacked and it's down to 1 or 2 guys. You can take guys from a camp like this one that has say 11 and send 4 or 5 of those guys down there to shore up the manpower they need there. And that's what that one's for. And then the last one is create a war party. And what you do is you choose however many number of people you want. You equip them with weapons and whatnot. And you send them on horses if they have the horses available. I really wouldn't send a war party out without horses. And then you can give them a destination and they'll head for it, or you can have them follow you, and they'll go wherever you want them to go. Now, in the menu for the war party, 3 on your keyboard will bring that up, and there's a couple options on there. One is follow, and the other is mirror. The mirror one is kind of cool in that they will do exactly what you're doing. So they're supposedly not supposed to fire a weapon at anybody unless you're firing at somebody. although that's the best way to do it, this game is still early, and even though it's full release now, I found it's kind of glitchy still. So sometimes they'll pull up next to me, I haven't fired anybody, and they'll just open fire on me, which may not bode well with the plan I have. So, that being said, but they are useful and they can help you. Alrighty, so we've gone through those. Let's move up here. Inventory we talked about. Crafting is, of course, available when you purchase them using your SP points, which is over here on the right corner of the screen, upper corner of the screen, just below the date. Excuse me. Anyways. SP points will come into play in a lot of things in the game here, but this is one of the things you can use it for, and you can purchase recipes. As you can see, if you haven't purchased the recipe, they'll be grayed out. If you don't have enough SP points to purchase that, you won't even see the learn or any of that. It just stays gray. Okay? Also, the weapons that you see here are blueprints that I picked up from missions I went on. These are not automatic. So all the firearms in the game, the only way to get those, along with some of the explosives, is to pick them up by chance in loot boxes around the world. So that's that. And the next thing we have is the war paints. They're going to be available to you in the beginning. I suggest that you pick out the ones that benefit whatever playstyle you're going to do, and each one has its own attributes, and I suggest that whatever one you choose the same thing for all 3, because there's a benefit to it. Like I've chosen the Power Boar's Bark, and it gives me the 9 weight. The weight is what is in inventory, so it expands the weight in my inventory, and that's important to me in the game. And you will find probably that it is too. Okay, so that's the war paints. The next is objectives. Objectives are these. The question marks will tell me where the party or adjective is that I need to attack or do whatever to him, and I can't get that information without doing the sneak attacks, which you do the intimidation with. Again, like I was saying, intimidation is important to keep your reputation in good. and it also, every time you do that, they all cough up information, and usually it's the location of some of this stuff, especially the bosses with the stars above their heads. Okay, so moving on from the objectives, we have the skills. The skills are important. This one is, I'm at weapon damage 5 right now. I'm waiting to do the 6. I'm almost there. And that's going to increase the damage of all my weapons by 70%. So if I've got a weapon, I have a sniper that does almost 900 damage. This will raise that by 7, and that'll add an extra 70% damage on top of that. It makes that, that's why I can one-shot people with that sniper. Anyway, so, all through, this is the warrior, you have the scout, you have the chief, you have the hunter. You want to go through, look at these, see what they offer, and make your decisions on what you want to purchase when you can. These are important that you focus on these, especially a couple of them. So, in the scout one, this is really important. The Spyglass allows you to mark the enemies in a camp, so you can stand back in the bush and scan the camp, and every time it sees one, a little circle will form on him, and it'll get smaller and smaller till it goes to a dot. And once it does the dot, then a little red arrow will pop up above his head, and you can see that arrow when they're in the buildings, when it's dark, no matter what. So you always know where they are, which makes helps a lot with the sneaking that you're going to do. Alright, so that's that. Let's move up here to the social tab, because there's something I was going to share with you. In this tab, the stats tab, this is a standard thing, and it keeps respawning here, and you can get it over and over and over. You can I actually give them to camps. I supply them to the camps. I've been supplying them to the camps since I started the game. This is called an Ancestor's Bow, and if you look at the attributes on it, it has the ability to fire multiple weapons, or multiple arrows, projectiles. The first arrow that you're going to use in the game is going to be a wood arrow. It's useless. It's like somebody took an arrow and took a knife and sharpened the tip on it. That thing's just, it's junk. A wooden arrow has a stone head on it. They work much better, and they do a lot more damage. They do 136 damage compared to the 68 the wood arrow does. And the 68 damage is if you're that good with it. Anyways, accuracy is everything, and power is everything in the game. So, but this bow will afford you that. You can get this right off. As soon as you finish the tutorial, you can come over here, open this up, go to the stash page, and grab that bow. That means you're starting off a little bit ahead. It does way more damage. It shoots a lot better, and it's way more accurate and easier to use. So I suggest you grab that as soon as you can. And remember it, because I believe every 119 hours it respawns a new one. Or 119 minutes. So every 119 minutes you can grab the next one, and then you can start passing them out to your tribe members and stuff, which will make them more stronger. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the events tab. The events tab here has events that will supply you with coins. Coins are these up here, which you can use in the market. I'm going to show you in a minute. And they do provide SP, and they also provide rewards. So every time you complete one of these, you're going to get something for it, and some of them are pretty healthy. Now, the ones you see in green here that have the clocks on them are ones that you have to accept to do, but they're very difficult at best. I don't mess with them. I mean, I could probably do some of them, but I don't have that time. I'm still trying to expand my resistance, so I don't really have time to mess with that. These other ones, the brown ones, you will complete them without even trying. You'll just get a notification up there that says that you have 5 or 6 messages on the social tab, and you click on it, and you come to the events, and you'll find that some of these will already say completed on them. All you got to do is click on them and collect the rewards for them. Up here is this trade tab, is the market. You can buy and sell anything here. I buy a lot of this 44 cal ball load for one of my sniper rifles. because it's rare and it's hard to get in the world. And so I just rather just purchase it. I purchase it in groups of 100 or more, but it ain't cheap. These ones are 5, and that's like retardedly cheap. But as you can see, there's only 3 here. But if I go down here and I do this, and I come down here and I look for that 44 cal, there's another one. It's cheap, but I can't get. I need a lot more than that. Now here's the guy I've been purchasing from, and he's just dropped the price of his today. I don't know how that happened, but that's good news for me. This one down here, he's selling them. Yeah, this is crazy. The last few days, the cheapest I could get them was $29 a piece. So that's good news. Yeah, I'm glad. But anyways, you can purchase anything on here you want, including weapons. And so this is the stuff this is the currency that you use to purchase stuff there. You can build this up pretty quickly. And it may take a while in the beginning, but just be patient with it. And one moment you'll look up there and see that you probably will have 25, 30K of these. And then when you do, you can come over here and pretty much get anything you want. This is a mail tab. You know, I've never gotten mail, so I don't know what that's about. But that's what that's for. The leaderboards basically is, you know, claim to fame. Hey, I'm really good. Look at me. This is gun accuracy, all that stuff, you know. And I mean, you know, the younger people, I'm an older guy, and so I'm not really interested in none of that. I'm just in the game to have fun. I'm not trying to really be number one and all this stuff, but I just try to have as much fun as I can. But there again, some people enjoy that, and if you do, you can come over here and maybe find your name up here somewhere, and you're doing well. Anyway, so much for the Associates tab. You close it down here at the bottom. And I've got to cut the video short because YouTube has requirements on the length, but I will be making more videos. I'm going to be starting the next video this afternoon, and it's going to be actual gameplay. I'm going to actually start playing and showing you guys some of the maneuvers and some of the tricks of the trade. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it gave you a little more information and helps you get a start in the game well. And if you liked the video, please like it. It helped me. And please subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Stay safe. Stay alive.